Right, so we're going to move into some legal matters. Defense lawyer Zandile Mshololo has accused state witness Melusi Xulu of failing to describe the alleged intruders because he was drunk at the time. Now, Mshololo has been cross-examining Xulu at the High Court in Pretoria about his evidence in chief. 5 men are currently on trial for the murder of soccer star who was shot and killed back in 2014 whilst at singer Kelly Khumalo's home in Vosloorus. Xulu has been unable to describe clothing or the weapon that the intruders carried, claiming it was too dark. Court adjourned until Monday. A very interesting week, obviously emerging from the evidence given at the Senzo Meyiwa trial underway in the High Court in Pretoria, from cell phone data analysis to contradictions being picked up by the defense teams from the state witnesses. Perhaps to make sense of all this, we're going to be joined by legal analyst Melusi Xulu. Very good afternoon to you, Melusi. Thank you for your time with us here on the SABC.
Good afternoon to you, Lizelle, and good afternoon to the viewers at home. Thank you for having me.
So we're wrapping things up today, perhaps as trial resumes on Monday. And I wonder if we could look at the cell phone data analysis that came through, what was unearthed, the information regarding SMSs that were exchanged, perhaps also calls that were made before and after the incident, how this relates to the bigger picture as the trial progresses.
Okay, what was interesting last week, Lizelle, is that when we first got information that there was a link between accused 5 and Kelly Khumalo, and a link between accused 5 and I believe accused 1 and 3, if I'm not mistaken, we got to understand that these accused somehow they do know each other, they are linked, and we were obviously a bit shocked that Kelly Khumalo is also mentioned. However, what was important this week, remember on Monday, before he testified, there was a correction that was made. It was stated that, in fact, the Ntuli that was calling accused 1, 2, and 3 is, I believe, Mabongo or Mabongo Ntuli, who's actually not accused 5. So we got to hear that. But what was important this week, compared to last week, is that we got to further find out what was the main conversation. We didn't find it out. The only thing we found was there's a link, but it's not clear what was stated, what was communicated. So it doesn't, personally for me, it doesn't take it much further. It just raises suspicions, but we need to have more information. Was there a conspiracy? What was the conversation about? That's why, just to end on this, that's why Advocate Mshololo, she asked Colonel Steyn, is there a crime or conspiracy that was proven between accused 5 and Kelly Khumalo? And he said he could not answer to that. So when Colonel Steyn was crossing his mind, we got to find that there's nothing much that is more than just a link.
All right, thank you for that context, Melusi. Perhaps as we wrap things up, because we also know that the defense was able to find some loopholes in the evidence of the data analyst, and really question the credibility of the evidence that the colonel had now brought forward. What does this also do as we proceed further? Questions about what to do with Kelly Khumalo, perhaps by the NPA as well, coming to the fore. How would you weigh in on some of those unearthings?
Okay. Last week, when there was information that Kelly Khumalo would not testify, that was before Colonel Steyn came to tell us about this supposed link between her and the accused. So it leaves that question that must be clarified by the state, in my opinion. However, they've stated they will not call her. The defense can still call her. They can ask the courts and apply that she comes to testify according to Section 179 of the Criminal Procedure Act. Even the courts can ask that Kelly comes and testify and maybe help to clarify a few things. What was the link about? Maybe she would deny or not. We don't know. So I think at this point, we do need Kelly Khumalo to testify, just to put a few things across. Because can you imagine that if I would be outside the case, she has been kind of cancelled, inverted commas, at certain shows. So probably she will want to have her voice heard about the connection that has been stated. I think it will assist her if she's not involved.
Earlier on you alluded to some of the contradictions, and I want to hone in on that. We heard the defense finding contradictions from Thokozisi Twala's testimony regarding some of the events that took place that night. Thokozisi Twala coming out to say that the police used the wrong wording when taking down statements. Help us understand the impact of that in terms of discrepancies unfolding as well, what it's going to have as we resume trial perhaps on Monday as well.
Okay, I think that's a great question, Elizabeth. The best thing I can advise a person when you're going to make a statement for a criminal case for a docket, it's better if you know English, you do it on your own and you write what happened and then to be commissioned by the Commissioner of Oath. Why am I saying that? When, for instance, you're going to be speaking in isiZulu or in Sesotho, you are obviously going to be saying certain things that need to be interpreted. And the police might not interpret exactly what happened. But here's what happened. Once they've taken your statement, they read it back to you to say, Mr. Xulu, is this what you stated? Can you confirm that there's nothing that has been left out? Can you amend anything? And then at that point...
Melusi, I'm going to have to interject and leave the conversation there. Melusi Xulu is a legal analyst weighing in on what transpired this week as the Senzo Meyiwa murder trial gets underway at the High Court in Pretoria.